Faye, please.
What am I doing?
Postpartum Q&A.
Postpartum. Hello, family. I hope all of you guys are healthy and safe and well. We are back here with another Q&A, but before I do that, if you are not already subscribed, pause this video and press subscribe down below. Along with that, hit the bell notifications link so you know when a new video is going live. Okay, so today we have some sort of like postpartum update. I went on Instagram and had you guys submit questions about postpartum, about my journey, because we know everyone's is different, about my journey and the things that I've experienced being almost 10 freaking months postpartum. It's been a wild ride, but I figured I would just answer you all's questions that you submitted. So without any further ado, let's just get straight into it. You know Shay's behind the camera.
Hello, people.
She's gonna ask the questions and then I'm just gonna chat with you guys.
How's breastfeeding going and tips to keep your milk supply up?
I always hate when I get the tips to keep supply up question, because everyone's body is different and what works for one person could completely tank your supply. So the only thing that I would say is to make sure that you're getting enough calories and that you're overhydrating. Literally drink enough liquids until you can't take any more. That's probably been the only thing that's been able to help me keep my supply up. I am 10 months breastfeeding. I would say the last 2 months, 2 months, maybe a month and a half, I stopped her on the boob. So I am strictly pumping. And that is because sis has teeth now and she thinks it's fun to like gnaw on my nipples with her two bottom teeth. And I just can't, I couldn't handle it anymore. So I've strictly been pumping and giving her bottles. So she's still getting breast milk, but she's also doing solids too, so it's kind of like a mixture of everything. But yeah.
What did you do to help your postpartum hair shedding?
Nothing. Be bald. I didn't beat myself up about it, and I think I didn't beat myself up about it because I have seen other moms talk about it. Prior to being pregnant and having Harper, a lot of people didn't talk about a lot of things. So like, I think for me, that's why I share so much, because there's so many things where I'm like, I should have known about this. Like, why aren't people sharing this to help someone else out? Like, I didn't even know it was a thing. And I thought only some people maybe dealt with it, not everybody. But when I realized that like every single mom goes through it, it's just a part of the process. And I kind of just dealt with it. So my edges are slim. I wasn't going to get braids because I was like, I want to hide it with wigs, whatever. But no. This is what we got, and this is how we're just gonna work with it. This is a part of the process. It sucks, but you just deal with it and keep it moving. Another thing, I have been making sure to continue to take vitamins, my prenatals and things like that. So I feel like that helps with it not being as bad as it probably could. But again, consult with your own doctor, because I wouldn't want to recommend anything and then it have a whole adverse effect with anybody. But taking my prenatals and making sure I'm getting my nutrients up for my specific body have also been really good.
How did you heal your C-section scar? Any marks that you got from pregnancy? Or any marks you got from pregnancy?
I still have my stretch marks. I see them as like war scars or war stripes. So they don't bother me because I carried a whole human and worked throughout my entire pregnancy. So like, go figure. But as far as my C-section scar, it has healed properly. I personally have gone to a C-section recovery center where I've had them look at my scar and make sure that there's no scar tissue and that it's healing right, and to massage some of the, whatever it is that's in there that needs to, move around a little bit. I wouldn't say that I've done that I've gone there 3 times since being postpartum. So it's not like something that I had to do like every week or every month, but I do have it looked at just to make sure that everything is going the way, because I do want to have more kids. So I want to make sure everything is healing properly so that I am able to have a VBAC when the time comes.
What's a VBAC?
A VBAC is a vaginal birth after cesarean. So I want to make sure that I can have a VBAC for my next baby. So I wanted to make sure everything healed properly, that I was taking care of my body. And yeah, I also go see a pelvic floor specialist this week for the first time, so I'm really excited about that because apparently that helps you really just make sure everything is back intact from birth.
What belly band did you use to strengthen your core?
None. They just all made me uncomfortable, so I have not worn any. I've never been a fan of like waist trainers and all that stuff. Like I just feel like just go do some crunches or something. But being 10 months in, I do wish I would have given it more of a shot, because now my core is like shot, like it's completely, it's gone. And it's been very hard while working with the trainer to get it back. So I hated them. I do wish I didn't hate them as much because I feel like it would have been a little bit easier for me to get my belly back to how I wanted it to be.
What did you eat to help you heal faster after?
Nothing. Nothing. I'm not gonna sit here and make something up. I literally ate what I wanted to eat. I actually gained more weight postpartum than I did in pregnancy, and that's just because of that's how things happened. So I don't know if it was the stress or just learning this new body or whatever, but I actually gained more weight postpartum than I did in pregnancy, and we're still getting back.
I do want to add that you hired a postpartum doula who helped just make sure that your meals still had a lot of like nutritional value.
Right.
So you weren't eating junk, but you were
I wasn't eating junk, but I wasn't like, oh, today I'm going to
maintaining
X,
a
Y, Z.
diet.
Yeah, I wasn't doing all that. But my postpartum doula, for those weeks that she was with me, she did make sure that I had like good snacks that helped with milk supply, so like different kinds of nuts and stuff like that, because she also is a lactation consultant. So she did make sure I was getting good hearty meals that would help with me lactating and just feeling okay. But there was no specific food that I ate that helped me heal.
Tips for being consistent with nursing and pumping, but I think as somebody who hasn't carried like or been that question would just be like, how do you know? Because you don't know. Like y'all say, oh, every couple hours, but like maybe explain what it feels like and stuff.
Yeah, well, I have a tribe. I have a birth tribe and a mom tribe that helped me with all of that. So my doula, while being pregnant, I had multiple lactation classes and things that I had to like, you know, that I learned with her. So that's hard to explain. You kind of just do what you can do. So like for me, they told me, a lot of people recommended that I didn't start pumping until she was 6 or 7 weeks old. By week 3, I was like, I need somebody else to be able to feed her because mentally this isn't good for me to be the only one that has to be at her every beck and call when she's, you know, hungry, or like if I'm in the middle of a nap or in the shower or something. So by week 3, I was like, yes, that's what they told me, but for me and my house, this is what works for us because I need to make sure I'm mentally healthy as a mom. So I did what works best for me. So I was pumping as well, also because I wanted to have a good enough stash in the case that I wanted to get out for a couple of hours. In the case that I wanted to do XYZ, I wanted to make sure that I had a stash so that they were able to feed her and I wasn't having to come running home every time she was hungry. But along with that, I do know you have to move milk to make milk. So if you're not pumping frequently enough, your body is going to think that you don't need, or pumping or feeding frequently enough, your body's going to think that you don't need it. So whenever I would feel my supply like dropping a little bit, I would amp up my pumping. Even if I wasn't full and like ready to pump, I would still put the pump or put her to the boob so that I could get that milk flowing. So my body's like, okay, cool, she wants more milk this week or she wants more milk this month. So we're gonna keep making more. So that's one tip that I would give you, because I'm not a lactation consultant, but I do know for a fact you have to move milk to make milk.
What do your like breasts feel like for you to know it's like time to pump?
They feel full. I feel like it's very obvious. They feel full, and they feel like you need to like release. Yeah, and any mom, like you'll know what it feels like. But like I said, if you want more milk, even when you don't feel like you have to pump, you have to, or pump or feed. I keep saying pump, that's because what I do. But you have to put the baby to the breast or the pump to the breast so that it thinks like, ah, crap, we gotta hurry up and make more because she needs more.
What's your take on pressure to exercise and snap back solely because you just had a baby?
I saw a lot of questions about that, and honestly, it's hard. It's very, very hard because, like, two things can be true. you can honor your body for doing what it did, building a human, carrying a human for almost a year. Like, you can simultaneously do that, but also miss your body pre-pregnancy. So I don't feel one way or the other, and I side with both people who think, I want to get back to myself so that I can mentally, it's not about looking good and all that kind of stuff. I just want to feel like myself again and be in control of my body again. And after having a baby, you're really not. And I think that was the hardest part, the hardest pill to swallow for me, because it was like, I used to be able to diet for like a good 2 weeks and I would be right back where I needed to be, like literally, like muscle toned, everything. Like, I used to be able to do that, but now it's not that easy anymore. And then it's also hard if you're breastfeeding, because it's like every time you diet and try to like limit, or at least for me, every time I diet and try to limit what I intake, my milk tanks drops. Like it literally tanks. So it's hard. It's like, do I diet and supplement with formula and things? And baby's fed, but I wanted to feed her longer just by the boob. Or do I allow myself to continue to gain weight because I have to keep my milk supply up? So I don't know. What was the question again? Because I feel like I just went off on a tangent.
Just navigating postpartum snapbacks.
I think for me, it's a daily task for me to keep reminding myself what my body has done. Because while I'm like, yeah, so strong, this is like, I'm not worried about that, still mentally in my head, there's like that thing that's whispering like, but you used to be able to do this, and you used to be able to fit in this size, and you used to be able to do that. So it's a daily struggle, but I think it's something that you have to continue to keep talking to yourself, like, my size isn't the only thing that matters. I literally carried a human. I'm taking care of a human. I'm working. I'm killing it. I'm doing X, Y, Z. So like figure it out, And I am working out. And I think for me, working out now is more of a like mental thing. So it's making me feel like I'm more in control of my body. I'm not weighing myself. I'm not looking at the scale. I'm wearing things that I can fit. I started sizing up because at first I was like, I'm not even going to buy stuff at a bigger size because that's not the size that I am. But no, like, this is where I am now. I'm honoring where I am now. And I'm going to slowly work to get where I want to be. But I'm not going to pressure myself because I'm like that girl. And I don't need to do that. Like, I don't need to pressure myself. I'm doing so many other amazing things. As long as I am healthy and happy for my family, then that's really all that matters for me right now.
Top 5 breastfeeding must-haves.
So when you have a new baby, I would say the My Breast Friend pillow. For sure a haka, so you can catch the letdown, because when I tell y'all that stuff adds up, like, I only like pumping on one boob at a time, so I use the haka on the other boob, so that it catches the letdown, and we add that, and it literally adds up to like a lot of ounces, instead of just letting the milk go to waste. Motherhood, maternity, nursing bras are incredible. They are my favorite so far. I've also tried Skims. Don't like them as much because they're not as like, they're not as, what is the word I'm looking for? Like secure.
Like,
yeah, I feel like my boobs are like, because they're already like to my kneecaps. So I just don't want them to be as far down. But Skims doesn't have as much material to like hold you in, and I like that. How many was that?
3. I can say the last 2.
Go ahead.
A pump that you yourself enjoy. Like, try out a couple pumps, but one that works for you.
Yeah. So I actually have had a lot of questions while we're here about what pump do I like the most, because I remember I did a review on the LV and the Spectra. As of today, 10 months now, the Spectra is my favorite, the Spectra S2. The suction is way stronger than the LV for me. And also it holds more milk. So I was pumping with the LV, and although it was great to be able to move around and do stuff, it was leaking really, really quickly because the cup doesn't hold as much milk. So I felt like I kept wasting milk because I would be trying to move around and do stuff, and they would be filled immediately. So that's because of the milk supply she's producing. Yeah, that's because of the milk supply. But I felt like I was wasting my milk, and so although it is nice to be on the go and like do it, I'd rather just sit down and use a Spectra, get all the milk out, and then go about my business. I also like the Dr. Brown's hand pump. That's what I take on the road. And I like it because the suction is freaking incredible. You can do it yourself, and you can honestly just squeeze and the milk just, it's like a faucet. So I like that the best on the go because it's way faster than the slowly
especially on
it's
flights.
like a yeah. On flights too. Yeah.
The last one I would say is just go ahead and invest in really good milk bags because some of them are not made the best and they leak or there's holes and stuff like that.
And when you see milk leak, it's like, I feel like I see stars. I see like black. It's really bad. So wait, which ones do I use? Linosia.
We'll insert the picture.
Yeah. Before I butchered
We butchered the name. It's a purple box. We love that brand. Do you believe you experienced postpartum depression?
No. And I don't believe I experienced postpartum depression because I know how bad postpartum depression can get. And I wouldn't consider me just not having a good day or like being on edge. I wouldn't consider that postpartum depression. I do believe I experience and sometimes still experience postpartum anxiety. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with the anxiety that I already was fighting before having a baby. So after Harper kind of just increased with just me like just being super OCD, wanting things, like thinking that something's always wrong, hearing the phantom cries and things like that. So for sure, postpartum anxiety. And it wasn't an ongoing thing. Like I would have bouts with it and be fine, and then bouts again and then be fine. But definitely not postpartum depression. And I think a lot of that had to do with all of the preparation that I did ahead of time. I knew that I suffered with anxiety prior to having Harper. So it made me over-prepare and even over-prepare my tribe. So like if I say I'm out, I need y'all to understand that I'm at my wit's end and I need to go take a drive or something. And everyone knows they're like, okay, Harper, come on, you go do this, you do the laundry, you do this. It's like everybody just knows. And I think because I had those tough conversations with them like up front, ahead of time, like how I get overwhelmed, how my anxiety starts to, get me to freak out a little bit. So if XYZ happens and I just walk out, y'all know what to do. And then just also making sure that I have help. So like I always have had a hard time asking for help. So with my family and with my tribe, I was like, I need y'all to just do stuff. If you see me getting flustered and overwhelmed with XYZ, I need you to literally just start doing it because I don't always know how to ask. Mind you, I have gotten more comfortable with asking since she's been here just because as you do things, it's like they can't read your mind. But being that I knew that was something that I struggled with before, I was like, I need you guys to just see what's going on, read the room, and just start doing stuff. And that has helped so much. And not trying to be Superwoman and do it all. That's another hard pill I had to swallow since having Harper. Because you can't. You literally cannot. As much as you try, and you'll only burn yourself trying to do it. So allowing myself that help has really, really helped me because I feel like had I not planned the way I did, I could have easily fell into suffering with postpartum depression. And mind you, it is a chemical thing. So I don't think it's just like being anxious and like crying and all that kind of stuff. Like it is a chemical imbalance and it's serious. So, but knowing what I suffered with before, I feel like had I not taken these steps and been self-aware enough to know if you don't do X, Y, and Z, you're gonna friggin' lose it. I think that helped a lot. Even though a lot of the things that I came to the realization of, it was a hard pill to swallow because I'm like, I'm not really that way, but no, yes you are. Yes you are.
When did you start to feel like yourself again after birth?
I don't feel like myself today. I feel like a better version of myself. I feel like it's hard to explain because there's so many different ways. Like I feel like a better version of myself. I feel like Superwoman at times, but I also feel like I don't know the person I don't know the person I was prior to having Harper. So a part of that is a good thing. A part of that is kind of sad because it's like, oh, what happened to her? She was so fun and like wanted to do this and do that. Now I just want to work and take care of my family and hang out with them. And I feel like it's put a strain on some friendships, but I feel like the friends that are moms and that have businesses and that have other things going on, I do feel like they understand because they too don't recognize themselves prior to having a baby. You know what I mean? So It's weird. It's very, very weird because it's like, who is this person? Who am I? Even some of the things I do and say, I'm like, what did you even just say? But it's all a learning process. I don't think anyone should expect to feel like themselves post-baby, because you literally are a different person. And it could be a good thing. It is a good thing. But I think just accepting this new you, and that's what I had to do. Stop waiting for like the old JaLisa to come back, and just be like, all right, this is where we are now. This is who we are now. Let's just roll with it, and find ways to make it better.
Everybody, this is JaLisa's cousin Ayana.
You have to do the spill.
Oh, you have to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ayana. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My station is named JaLisaEVaughn. Is it JaLisa? Hope everybody is happy. Okay, I hope everyone's doing great today. Whenever you see this, just make sure that you follow and like and subscribe to YouTube, Instagram, and shop all those links. She's coming.
Okay. How's breastfeeding going, and tips to keep your milk supply up?
Okay, so I'm actually exclusively pumping, which means I give the baby the milk that is freshly expressed. She just caught me. But anyway.
Are you?
I'm exclusively pumping, which means instead of putting baby directly to boob, I pump the milk, I put it in a bottle, and then I give it to baby.
How did y'all get her in front of a camera?
She literally just
welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is JaLisaEVaughn today.
How did y'all get her? She walked in here.
No, but tips to keep your milk supply
I have
up.
a question.
Yes.
Wait, fix your brain.
Okay, this is Oprah. We're live.
So, how long did it take for you to feel like yourself post-baby? Do you feel like you're back to yourself?
I would say I'm about 70% back. I think the hardest part is now like accommodating my new mom style, like the clothes that I used to wear and stuff like that aren't really like fitting to my lifestyle anymore.
I only asked because I told them I don't feel like I don't think I'll
ever be back to pre-mom. I think it's just navigating the new Ayana as a mom, and just trying to figure out what that even means. So I think that's like, I would say all moms, give yourself some grace, because it's like some days you be like, oh, I want to get back to me, and then it's just like, but I'm not me anymore. So I don't know, just give yourself grace and time. But yeah, back to JaLisa. Love you guys.
Baby-led weaning, how's that going, and how did you start?
We just started because this is the thing. Back in the day, our parents didn't have any like rule books on like how to do stuff, so I was just like, honestly, I think Harper was like 3 months and I was like, here's a chicken bone. And she loved it. So we just went with it from there. I follow Solid Starts, Baby-led Weaning, Feeding Littles.
These are Instagram pages?
These are Instagram pages that I follow that show you like, at 6 months, this is how you cut up XYZ food. Here are some good starters to start with. So I really just follow those pages and wing it. I know the only thing I would recommend, because I don't know the specifics of how you're supposed to do it. The only thing I would recommend, which is also what our pediatrician recommended, is trying one food a week or at a time, so that if your baby has an allergy, you know exactly what it was. So I wouldn't recommend like giving them 5 foods at a time and like, just seeing, because you won't know what to pinpoint. So when we first started out, it was like one thing at a time. We would wait and see if she had any flare-ups or whatever. And Harper already has eczema, so there were some times where her skin would flare up, but it was only because it was her eczema. It wasn't like an allergic reaction, because we knew the difference. Obviously, if it was allergy, we would be at the emergency room. But we would just over aquifer her skin and whatever, and she would be fine. But yeah, we followed those pages to give ideas of new foods, because a lot of people just stick to like bananas and sweet potatoes and all the easy stuff, but I want her palate to be expanded. I want her to try a bunch of different things and know what she likes. Another thing I would advise is, if they don't like it the first time, keep trying it. A lot of those pages say like on the 7th try, then they'll end up loving it or like whatever. So don't take their first, like, you know, the faces that babies make when they try stuff. Don't take that as a like they hate it. It's just their first time. It's new. They don't know. Because I know at first sweet potatoes, she hated, and then now she loves them. A lot of different fruits she hated at first, and now she loves them. So I would just say be patient with them. And what's the other one thing that all the pages say? Oh, don't give them a ton of different foods at one time, because that's overwhelming to them. It's like too many different new things in front of them. So give them maybe 1 or 2 things and let them decide and pick from it. And it's gonna get messy. You have to just let them explore. And yeah, that's all I can say about that. But follow those pages because they are so helpful. Also, Mom TikTok. They have a lot of like good recipes and things you can try with babies of like healthy snacks and stuff like that.
This question says it's too personal, and it is, but I need to know for myself. The JJ treatments, is that a thing?
I haven't gotten any. I haven't gotten any vaginal treatments.
Is that for like if you do have a vaginal birth?
That's just for, I mean, you don't even have to have a baby. You could go get yourself treated, you know.
Okay. Get
everything flushed out and, you know.
Okay.
Tight back if you want a little bit thing. You know, you don't know. Everybody wants different things. I haven't gotten any. Maybe like after my 4th or, you know, maybe 5th child, I'll go to somebody's surgeon and be like, sew me up, make me like I'm 12. But I don't know. I haven't gotten anything done though. I know people do like the steaming and stuff, which I don't even know what that's like, but I don't know.
Sleep. Does she sleep with you, and how often does she wake at night?
We're doing good these last 2 weeks, so I am proud to answer this question. How many times you ask? Twice. She's only waking up twice to eat. 2 weeks ago, we put her in her own bedroom, and she has been sleeping 12 hours. She goes down around 6:30, maybe 7. We're trying to get her closer to 7, but she usually doesn't make it past 6:30. She's like ready to go down. Before she was in her crib that was in our room. After she turned 9 months, we were like, we need our room back, and I'm sick of tiptoeing around a baby in my own bedroom. I can't hang out in my room. So I was like, sis gonna have to go to her room. And I will say, which is freaking insane, ever since she's been in her room, she sleeps better. I think knowing that we're right there and knowing that we can hear her and she can see us sleep and all that kind of stuff, she woke up like 5-6 times out of the night. And sometimes it would just be just because she felt like getting our attention and waking us up. Ever since we put her in her room, we literally have to wake her up to eat. And I'm about to cry thinking about it. It's been so great. I've literally been sleeping. That's probably what makes me feel like more like a human. Because my husband sleeps and he'll snore and, you know, sleep through her fussing and whining and stuff. But for me, I'm such a light sleeper. Like, anytime she would wake up, I would never fall back to sleep because I'm anticipating her next wake up. So I was like sleep deprived for a lot of months, which is why I pretty much hated everybody. And I was very on edge, but it was because of my lack of sleep. Now that she sleeps in her room, I don't do night shifts at all anymore. It's great. Corey does night shifts. He'll go feed her, change her diaper, come back to bed, and it's only twice instead of 1,700,000 times. And when she was on the boob, she knew that she could just wake up and I would put her on the boob because I can't stand to hear her crying. So I would always just throw the boob in her mouth, and I think that enabled her a lot. Also, I think a part of it, she's been on a 6 to 6 schedule, like nighttime wise, since maybe 4 or 5 months. Like her bedtime routine has been the same for the last 4 or 5 months, and I feel like that helps her stay on her schedule. The only thing that has changed here and there is her nap schedule. But as far as nights are concerned, her bedtime routine is the exact same. Corey and I do her bedtime routine together, so she knows that that's like dedicated family time. We do her songs, we pray together, and she's out like a light for the last 4 to 5 months.
Outside of like the breastfeeding must-haves, what are postpartum necessities? I know you mentioned a postpartum doula.
So I for sure recommend a postpartum doula if that's something that you can afford. I also would maybe add that to like a registry So I think that people underestimate postpartum in general. And I almost planned more for postpartum than I did for birth and labor and for the baby. And I think that's just because of the tribe that I had, and like my doula and my midwife are like, you need to focus on how you're going to make sure you're okay. And because they stress that, I think that's why I focused more on that. But if you can do one thing, I would say get a postpartum doula, because the reality is when a baby comes, everybody's like, ooh, baby. And mom's like hasn't showered in 4 days. She has milk leaking from her boobs. She smells like booty. And she hasn't eaten. She's bleeding. Like she needs to change her own diaper and take care of her own self. But everybody's always focused on the baby. A postpartum doula is like, no, you are my focus. And I'm here to make sure you're okay, and that the tasks that, you typically do laundry, or you typically make sure your kitchen's clean, like they'll do the tasks that will make you, feel comfortable with, sitting down, because the things that you would typically do for your home are being done by them.
Last question and we're done. How have you balanced working and having a child?
So we have a full-time nanny. My husband is a full-time daddy. And everybody knows their role, and even like my tribe and my team, everybody hops in wherever is needed. So yes, everyone has a role, but in this house we all do everything. And I think that has helped me be able to do what I do, because in order for me to be a happy mom, I have to work. That's what makes me happy. That's what I love. And I've just learned that. So yes, I've had mom guilt, like, oh, you're focusing too much on work and not enough on her. But the reality is, if I don't fill me up and I don't do what makes me happy, then I'm cranky and moody with my family, because I'm not filling up my cup. And I think motherhood has taught me to fill my cup first, so that I'm able to be who I want to be for everybody else around me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it wasn't too rambly and random, but I thought it would be cool for an update. Harper will be 10 months on the 27th of October. So she is quickly approaching her 1 year, which is crazy to even think about. If you guys have first birthday theme ideas, drop them in the comments below, because we are looking. At first I said, I'm not gonna have a first birthday party. She's too young. She's not gonna remember it. That's stupid. I don't know why people do that. There are a lot of things that I said, and I judged other moms before having a baby. And I just want to publicly say, I was wrong about all of it. Like, until you're a mom, you have no idea why moms do what they do. And you also don't judge them, because you realize everybody does what they need to do, that and what works for them and their family. And there are a lot of things that I said I would never do. I don't know why they do that. That's stupid. Even with like having a nanny, I used to say, like, I don't want nobody else raising my child. Like, that's how I thought of it. And there are so many things that I remember saying, like, as a child and growing up, that now I eat my words. I'm like, I can't believe you even fixed your mouth to say that, because you had no idea about any of it. But anyways, I said that I wasn't gonna have a birthday party because she would remember, but then I didn't know I was gonna have the most perfect child on the planet. So why would I not throw her a big banger for her first birthday? So that's what we're doing. So we're taking ideas. And then if you guys have any other Q&As or more questions that you want me to answer postpartum related, drop them down below. I'll also leave some of my favorite postpartum items in the description box. I'm trying to think what else. I guess that's it. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys are following on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. I love you guys. Peace out.